Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up this screen. Boy, we got a lot going on. We got Tillman's injury update, and it looks like we're going to have a timeline on that. We're going to talk about the procedure that he had, etc. Also, we're going to talk about our boy Lane Kiffin. He is distraught over what the Vol fans are doing. He can't take it, and we're going to talk about that as well. It's pretty big news. All right, so let's talk about Cedric Tillman first, since obviously he's way more important than Lane Kiffin will ever be. This is on Rocky Top Talk. Cedric Tillman, he had surgery following the ankle injury at Akron. Akron, I hadn't forgotten about you, Akron. You low-hitting pieces of. It says let me make this a little bigger. It says star receiver Cedric Tillman reportedly had surgery following the Akron game a couple of weeks ago. Tillman underwent what's called a tightrope procedure on his ankle, hoping to cut down his rehab time. Tua had that for Alabama, had that same procedure. He returned 28 days later. Now, granted, it may not be the exact same injury as far as severity. It's just hard to say. You know, everybody heals differently. This is per Sports Illustrated. It says this procedure uses a high-strength suture surgical thread instead of traditional metal screws, technically known as a knotless, whatever this word is, tightrope implant system. The procedure is designed to accelerate recovery for high ankle sprains, particularly in athletes, and can decrease the chances of long-term damage that can occur from high ankle sprains. Tennessee beat Florida last week with Tillman sideline, which was unfortunate, but man, our receivers came through and so did Hendon Hooker. We now have a bye week to further rehab the injury. They'll travel to LSU, of course, we know, at noon. It says if it took Tua a month to return, that would put Tillman in danger of missing LSU and Alabama matchups. But granted, we don't know if it's the exact same severity of the injury, and everybody heals differently. It says there's a fine line here. You certainly don't want to rush him back and cause further damage, but he's a guy you're going to have available if you want to beat Alabama. But I'd be surprised if they greenlight him to play next weekend in Baton Rouge. We'll see about that. The good news, of course, Ramel Keaton had a great game, had really the catch of the year, and we've got excellent wide receivers, so it's not like, you know, it's going to kill us or anything, but it definitely hurts. Cedric's a great player, and I'd love to have him back. It says Tennessee's more than capable of handling things at LSU without Tillman in the fold. Alabama should be the target. And even that may be pushing it. Everyone is different, and this all comes down to how Tillman handles the rehab process. So that's the most information we've received, really, on Tillman since the injury happened against Akron. I hadn't forgotten about you, Akron. You tried to take out Hendon Hooker. You took out Tillman with your low hits, your dirty low hits. I hope we never play Akron again. If I was Josh Heupel, they would never be on our schedule again, not a single time. Certainly not with that coach there, I can promise you that. You saw the plays. You saw what they did. I had to take a little break there. I was getting kind of mad. I was afraid I might say something awful.
You don't need to hear things like that. You just a boy.
Yeah, you don't need to hear that. I'm still mad about it. So I guess we'll just be playing it by ear. Look, everybody heals differently. The severity may not be the same as Tua. It may be better than his situation. It might be worse, might be the same, but we'll find out. And like I said, it sounds like we'll probably have him back for Alabama. LSU's very much up in the air. And you know what? They're going to do what's best for Tillman, which is exactly what they should do. And they shouldn't put him out there unless he's ready to go. And he'll be heavily involved in that decision because athletes know their body better than anybody. And if he's ready to go, he'll go. If he's not, then he won't. All right, now let's talk about Lane Kiffin. And I'm going to tell you something, what set him off, and there's absolutely no doubt in my mind, having followed this guy and having been in and having watched up close and personal how he totally stabbed us in the back when he left. After one season, we treated him like gold. They were being successful. He was making some headway, and he's never been treated better. He leaves in the middle of the night, takes a big old knife and stabs us in the back and twists it and runs off to USC where he got fired on the tarmac. Fired on the tarmac. How'd that feel, Lane? Did you enjoy that? Then you went into the wilderness for about 5 or 6 years. You did get to work for Alabama and get yelled at on the sideline. Then you got to go to Florida Atlantic Tech University, whatever the crap it is, community college, for 2 or 3 years. And then you finally landed at Ole Miss. And you're upset at Ole Miss because they're not Tennessee. That's what it boils down to. They're not Tennessee, and they don't have the fan base that we have. and he's distraught about it. There's no question that's what it is. Here's a little pregame before the Ole Miss game last year. Just gives you a little indication of how he feels about the Vols fans down deep. He doesn't hate them. He actually loves them, and he knows he screwed up. Yeah, you heard it. You heard it. Let me tell you what that is. That is respect, and that is going, man, I could have had this. I had it. He had it. Totally. And let's take a look at this article that details the problems that he's having. All right, it says Lane Kiffin on Ole Miss football fan support. Looks like a high school game in a college stadium. So he is not, look at that, he is not happy with the Ole Miss crowd. And you'll notice he wasn't complaining about it before the Florida UT game, but all of a sudden now he's distraught over it. It says Ole Miss football coach Lane Kiffin has alternated between being critical and understanding about the fan experience at the Rebels home games. Said the number 11 Rebels host number 8 Kentucky at home, and it's already sold out, so he should be happy. What's he complaining about? But in the Rebels' first 3 home games, that hardly has been the case. Average announced attendance has been 59,800. But that's a significant overestimate of how full the 66,000-seat stadium's actually been, especially in the second halves of games when the stadium has seldom even been half full. Look, Lane, 59,000's good for you, and you know it. You should be happy with that. Now, it's not 102,000 sold out for Akron, you know, the worst team in the world, basically. 102,000, you got 59, and probably not even that much. But hey, that's what you wanted. You wanted to scurry on away and get away from all this awesomeness, and now you regret it. That's all it is. It says when you come back out, run out of the tunnel, it looks like a high school game playing in a college stadium, and you can't let that affect you. Obviously, it affected you, Kiffin. There's psychology to that, obviously. There's home field advantage for a reason. When it goes the other way, you kind of have that feeling that, man, are we still playing in a game here? The players have to fight that. We use that as a learning lesson for our guys. If that's the case, that's the case. I'm worried about what I can control. I've tried social media in here for 2 years. We'll worry about what we can control, and that's getting our players ready to play. During Saturday's win over Tulsa, they had 60,000. The student section was virtually empty after halftime, and aside from the seats directly behind the home sideline, most of the rest of the stands were relatively vacant. Said Kiffin's made jokes about this phenomenon after the season opener against Troy. He quipped he wouldn't have wanted to stick around to see a team not score any points in the second half. He repeated a similar line following the Tulsa game. So obviously Lane's upset, and fortunately for us, we do have Lane. We've got him hooked up on the satellite. He's wanted to talk to you anyway, and I'll ask him a few questions. We've got Lane hooked up. We do. Lane, what are you thinking? You're upset with your crowd and everything, and what are your plans? I mean, what are you going to do here? You left Tennessee in the middle of the night. What do you have to say for yourself? Well, hello there, Sports Talk Jay. Lane Kiffin here. Yeah, I'm not happy. Yeah, I saw the crowd that you had at the Florida game, and I saw how everybody reacted after the game, staying there singing and having a party. And I heard it was so loud in there you couldn't even think. Do I miss that? Of course I miss that. I can't even get these people to stay for a game, even when we win. They don't care. I'm lucky to get 50,000 in there for real, and y'all are doing 102, and our passion's just not there, and it stinks. And yes, okay, I left in the middle of the night. I stabbed you in the back. I did all that. Look, I screwed up. I screwed up big time. And look, I'm not a loyal guy, okay? If that's what you're looking for, I'm not him. But something's going to have to give at Ole Miss, or I'm going to be trotting on down to Auburn or Nebraska or something like that, because that's how I roll. Look, when I see greener pastures, I'm gone. That's just how it is. So anyway, y'all could hire me back. I know you probably won't, though, because you probably love Josh Heupel. I'm sure he's getting all the love I should be getting. But anyway, I'm getting off this channel right now. I'm mad. I'm upset with my crowd. I'm extremely jealous, and I'm jaded, and I got nobody to blame but myself. God. Well, all right, folks, that was Coach Lane Kiffin. It was nice of him to at least be transparent a little bit about that. That's the one thing about him. He will kind of tell you how it is, even if he doesn't like it. I actually got a little video of him when he was trying to call Tennessee to get back the head coaching job, and here it is.
I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean that either. I just yell sometimes because I get so scared. I want to kiss you all over and over and again till the night closes in. Till the night closes in.
Yep, that was Lane back there trying to get his job back when he was off in the wilderness. Too bad, Lane. It's not going to happen. It's not ever going to happen, I don't believe. You might as well just forget it. And look, you're down there at Ole Miss. I'm sure you'll skip out on them at some point and try to find the greener pastures. It's what you do. But I can tell you this much. We're going to stick with Josh Heupel, and hopefully he's smart enough to stick with us, because you're not going to find 102,000 crazier people on this planet than UT Vol fans that are at that stadium. And there's a lot more than that out here watching, I can promise you. I mean, what did we get? 5.5 million people watched that game against Florida, which was the #1 game of the weekend. Look, we're the hot ticket. We're going to become a big dog, and that's what's happening. Our recruiting's on fire. This coach is on fire. Everybody wants to play for UT, and before it's all said and done, I think we're going to have a top 5 recruiting class, so I couldn't be more fired up. And poor old Lane, that's too bad for you, but you screwed up. And hopefully we'll get Tillman back here in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll luck up and he plays in the LSU game, but if not, hopefully the Alabama game. They don't want to rush him, and I understand that completely. You don't want to mess up the guy's career. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk J.